So now let's take what we just learned and unwrap this treasure chest so I can put some color on it. So first things first, I need a material and I want to put that on all these objects. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to call this chest mat. So I have my chest material and I can set the rest of these to have the same material on it as well, just so that we can see it updated as we go. So with this set, I can of course come in and change the color. Let's set it to viewport shading, set it to the material preview mode so I can see that I can confirm we got everything in here. But let's go ahead and click this little circle and go into image texture to bring in that file that we got from treasure chest open image that we got from here. So this is going to let me now actually see all of like the colors that are currently displayed on it. Of course, this isn't the way we want it because our UVs aren't laid out the way we want them to be right now. So let's go ahead and come into our UV editing tab. And I need to turn on that material preview again. And so we have our UVs here and we have our chest here. And that's a matter of hitting 2 on our keyboard and choosing to hold shift and clicking all these as I go around to set these out. Let me turn my screencast on again. I think it turns off sometimes when I switch modes. There we go. And now I can hit Control E and I can mark this seam. So I'm going to start by going around it and marking all these seams. Control E, mark seam. I can speed this up a little bit by hitting these. And now I've selected these edges anyway. And if I mark seam, it's going to do the same thing there. If I do this, however, it's going to try to split all of these up. So instead, a little quicker way to do it is if I select these all together. Because if I do Control E and mark seam, it's going to see it splits all of those. And I want these to be one big group as a line. So I can go up to select and select loops and boundary loop. I could do it by hand, just makes it a little quicker. So now I have the parts that are separated, the metal parts from my wood parts. And hit 3 because I don't want to forget these two, mark seam. Now I can hit A to select everything. And the best part is since we're working with mirroring, we're going to like order how much work we have to do on this whole thing. So let's hit U for unwrap. And now in this window, I hit 4 to set it to UV shell. And now I can just take these shells and wherever I move them is the color I'm going to get. So let's just take all these elements. And if something doesn't fit, well, I can just scale it down with S and put it into place. There's actually a lot to UV editing and getting everything to like line up and look correct, but I'm keeping it simple right now because this is, for most of you, your first time interacting with this. So let's place all of these here. So when I'm done, I have color now for my chest. Let's do the same thing with the rest of these. So a lot of these are pretty simple. So maybe I want to make this lock, sort of take it in here. Let's scale it down. And maybe I want this like as a gray metal instead of what I had it before. Or actually, if I take this here, let's do it as the lighter metal. And then I want to take these faces on the inside, like here. Let's go ahead and make this cut. So mark these seams, mark seams, A, unwrap. So U to unwrap, and now I can say this whole one right here can be that. And this one can be that, sort of giving me, you know, an area that's lighter and darker. I think that's kind of cool, like having the different types of metal on it. So I might do the same thing here, where let's tab this, all of it, and just do a simple unwrap. And maybe I'll make this one the darker and this one be lighter. I don't really need to split anything up here because they're all, this is all one object, so just have to decide where I want to put it. And so I can now go into, say, my chest material, and I can start playing with some of the stuff too. Like I can decide I want it to be rough or very shiny or different settings like that. But I think for now, this is pretty good. And now I have like a cool low poly treasure chest with a nice color scheme. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can take this object and give it a little bit more style, give it a little bit more theme, make it a little bit more exciting. It's kind of a dull treasure chest right now. I want to show you how we can create some extra features to it and make it a little bit more interesting. I'll see you in the next one.